abamabara aba concerts and abayimbi, their activity will start 2 weeks after the opening of schools. Because we want to first finish with the opening of schools, and then we deal with these other groups. Number 5, curfew will be lifted for everybody at the time of opening for the performing arts, but not for the borders. So after the schools have opened, 2 weeks, performing arts start functioning, operating. That's when we end the curfew. That's when we end the curfew. For everybody except borders. Borders banange mutusonye ebyama bingi songa za border nyingi. The borders will continue to observe the curfew hours of 1900 hours, that is 7 o'clock to 5:30 hours. Shaha imwe y'ekiro to shaha 11 z'ekiro.
Museveni allowed public transport to fully reopen with the required standard operating procedures in place.
We travel in the public service vehicle, a bus or a taxi. We are all fully vaccinated, and we have masks. And we don't use air conditioning in the car. We use the open air. We open the windows.
But the president was quick to warn that some of the measures may be reversed if a high COVID-19 dependence on intensive care unit bed occupancy exceeds 50%. The president urged at least 20 million Ugandans aged above 18 years to embrace vaccination.
All the Ugandans above 18 years of age, go out and be vaccinated. Empiso katuweziri mugende babageme. Ebikatubiroho mugende babatsirike ukusirika. Nataka nyinyi wote mwende mpate sindano. Sindano yuko ya kutosha. Kila mmoja natakiwa aende apate sindano ya kuzuia ugonjwa huu.
He earlier said the decision to reopen was determined by 4 factors that included increased vaccination and medicines that aid recovery of patients, like COVID-19, concluding a year dominated by chilling acts of domestic terror, landslides, floating islands, locusts and COVID-19. President Museveni preached hope. Museveni called upon the ADF rebels to instead surrender so that the people of Congo and Uganda have peace.
If the Congolese government allows us, we shall hit them, even if they go up to Kisangani or Buta or beyond. Their only choice is to surrender, so that the peoples of Congo and Uganda have peace, and they also get these terrorists also get rehabilitated and learn how to earn an honest living in the 4 sectors of commercial agriculture, small industries, services and ICT, instead of being parasites on the population. I salute all of you and wish you a happy and prosperous 2022.
Bernard Higa, UBC News.
A section of Kampala residents could not wait to usher in the new year 2022 as many braved the midnight coldness to welcome the new year. Our cameras captured some of these people in their celebratory mood. Take a look.
The year 2021 was seen off in a relatively quiet mood in Kampala and its neighborhood due to the existing COVID-19 restrictions.
Omwaka gutwise tugulira bubi kubanga lulio batanga bajanga wane tugera twa kubiriro liro neka tuli wano tweboyeranga bwe mutusanze wano.
In the Kampala suburbs of Makindye, Munyenyo, Kiwi and Seguko, apart from a few revelers spotted along the roads, many hangout areas were under key and lock.
Happy New Year! That I've reached New Year. Yeah!
I'm very happy because I crossed New Year.
However, in the areas of Chireka, Ntinda and Kololo, the year 2022 was ushered in a style.
Next to somebody and you can celebrate this year. Let's do a toast, man. Give me a glass. Listen, can you give me a glass? We're going to toast for 2022 and we know it's going to be a beautiful year. We believe it's going to be a beautiful year.
Yeah, man, but we're going to see how long we're there.
Events promoter Balaam Warugahari was among those who had organized New Year celebrations, but only to be stopped by Uganda police.
So instead, what I've noticed, there are elements of people power in police. And these elements may overtake police if we are not aware. So those bad elements should be removed or should be cautioned, because this is a loss to government. Through Minister of Gender and through Parliament, they approved these e-concerts. People were watching from far away from here. People were watching these concerts. Yes, people are watching these concerts.
Warugahari and others are, however, hopeful that the new year will be different since the presidential address okayed the full reopening of the economy.
Let's work together. Let's be tolerant. Let's welcome people with divergent views. Even those who support people power, welcome them to the sector. Let's work with them for the good of the sector. And please sing good songs. Don't sing funny songs. Agenda, Akolachi, Avereo. Yeah. Let's sing about development. Let's sing about agriculture, animal husbandry, the nice roads, fisheries, etc.
At different media outlets in Kampala, including UBC, virtual New Year's celebrations attracted all categories of artists. According to Kampala Metropolitan Deputy Police Spokesperson Loco Esgiri, their last night operations did hit a dead end as the general public was entirely compliant.
The New Year's Eve was generally peaceful, and also 1st January was also generally peaceful. However, there's reports we got of people were burning tires, but when we responded, the alleged persons ran away. And currently, I want to say that we have no suspects in our custody on allegations of violating COVID-19 SOP, especially the ones on curfew and bars. Many people had hosted people in bars. Those sanctions were disrupted.
The New Year celebrations always have attracted mixed celebrations, as many reflect on the past years both in a positive and negative aspect. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Some people have reacted to the presidential address on the fully reopening of the economy, with some expressing mixed reactions, especially the border riders who are to continue braving curfew. Our reporter talked to some of the people around Kampala and relayed their views.
Following the presidential address on COVID-19 and reopening of the economy in 2022, the president issued a statement on fully reopening the economy, relieving some sectors which have been in a lockdown for close to 2 years now.
We now intend to fully reopen the economy, as well as educational and social activities in some staggered manner.
The business community in Kampala are happy that they will no longer have to grapple with curfew, and this might make business flourish again, mainly in Kampala Central Business District.
We were before closing, but backwards. We were working very well. We were not ending at exactly 7. After opening, we will be ending at maybe at 9, 10.
Curfew kuvao chirungi
kuba kati luli eri babadde nga bajja ne batufuuyira firimba saa 12:00 ne batugamba muyingize ne tuyingiza ne tugenda.
He did good. For people have been yearning for that, and they are now okay. And I think it's good because according to what you see, people have been traveling very few in a bus or in a taxi, whereby they have been charged highly, exorbitantly.
Some businessmen in Kampala have stocked their shops with scholastic materials for students shopping ahead of schools reopening on 10th of January 2022.
Pre-primary, primary and secondary schools will be opened for learners starting with the 10th of January 2021.
naye nga ekyo kye yakoze kirungi nnyo kubanga yaguddewo amasomero tugenda kuddamu tukwate ku ssente abaana bagenda kuddamu okunywa amata.
However, bodabodas are not happy that the curfew was maintained on their sector from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m., saying the president should reconsider his decision.
Oba kusaawa ng'emu oluusi oyinza twali tukomye kale mu ssaawa oba nga 4. Kuba ku ssaawa emu osobola n'okufuna omulimu ogugenda emukono ng'olwese emisana byatambudde bubi n'ofunayo omutwalo era gw'onookola ki nawe gunayamba famire yo. Naye batugamba tunyuke essaawa emu tuba era tukyali ng'ate bannaffe bakola paka ssaawa yonna.
Yali gambi wakiri tukole ssaawa nga 4 oba nga onyuka n'omukazi okola ki obeera n'omukazi ku mulimu naye kati oyagala ogende waka omukazi omuleke nga kyakolamu atuuke waka asanga emmere yafumbe lwaki abadde atwongera ku budde.
In the transport sector, taxis and buses are still carrying 50% passenger capacity, whereas they are now at liberty to carry full capacity. Most Ugandans are not yet vaccinated against COVID-19, which is a prerequisite.
The transport sector, which has been operating at 50%, will be opened fully, but with the necessary SOPs, such as the wearing of masks, full vaccination by both the crew of the public service vehicle and the travelers.
Abanayuganda amu tebannaba kukola ki kubeera vaccinated. Tetujja vuga abantu basatu nga si bageme olwo tujemedde ekiragiro ky'omukulembeze waki w'eggwanga ne badriver affe bennyini abamu mulimu abatali baki bageme era katuwetenesemu okukolamu omulimu okulaba nga listi okutuuka nga 10 January nga n'abaana baddayo ku masomero tube nga tumaze okwegemesa ffenna.
Kituufu kirungi nnyo bajja kendeza kasente kabadde kangi naye abasaabaze ffe twali tubasaba okubavuga abasota basatu bwemu ajine kadi ye abasobola okwegemesa basobola okuggwayo sokendeza ku miwondo gyabwe ssebo.
Kati nga nze dereva ndabamu ekizibu kubanga oluusi mba njagala musaabaze kati oluusi sijja muleka ate ngenda musaba ngamba njirina era mbuuze oginsaba ngani.
Sada Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, His Grace Right Reverend Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, has expressed concern over the increased cases of teenage pregnancies, early marriages and domestic violence. Now, this was during his New Year's sermon at Namirembe Cathedral in Kampala.
Archbishop of Church of Uganda, His Grace Right Reverend Dr. Kazimba Mugalu has asked stakeholders in the education sector to consider special counseling initiatives for both the learners and teachers as schools resume.
And we pray for the parents, we pray for the government, we have special programs for teachers and also children.
Kazimba explains that this will help children, especially girls who have been affected, to blend easily into the new environment without psychological torture. This was during his New Year's sermon delivered at Namirembe Cathedral.
I can't imagine students who are pregnant, they are sitting in the same class, and those who are not. I think there is a need for proper preparation.
Concerned over the growing cases of domestic violence, street children, teenage pregnancies and early marriage, Dr. Kazimba blamed it on moral and cultural degeneration in society.
How do they come here? Who is handling them? So we need actually men and women concerned to rise up and handle these children because this is the time bomb.
Archbishop Kazimba asked Christians to desist from living miserable lives and learn to appreciate all situations as they occur.
Some have many problems COVID, lockdown 2 times.
And we are hoping that this year it will be more fair than the other year because everything wasn't easy.
Positiveness, we shouldn't be sadists. Sadists are always inflicting evil. They don't want to appreciate.
Dr. Kazimba Mugalu also commended government for accepting to compensate the church for its land in Entebbe to a tune of up to 21 billion.
We are so grateful that the government of Uganda agreed to pay us 21.4 billion, which is actually a compensation of our land at Entebbe Airport. They have been paying, but the payment was not really extremely useful because
it should be noted that government proposed guidelines of punishing boys who impregnate girls by sending them also out of school for the same period the girl will spend at home. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
The Diocesan Secretary, Church of Uganda, Reverend Canon John Awodi, has urged Ugandan politicians to emulate their Kenyan counterparts in being united regardless of their partisan differences. He was referring to a social media clip that was showing Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta apologizing to opposition politician Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto. Reverend Canon Awodi made the remarks during the New Year's prayers at All Saints Cathedral in Kampala.
This is the clip the Diocesan Secretary of Church of Uganda, Reverend John Awodi, was referring to where, during an end-of-year Thanksgiving prayers, President Uhuru apologized to his rival parties. Reverend Canon Awodi urged the Ugandan politicians to emulate them and be united.
It moved me when President Kenyatta, Uhuru, came up and said, we have abused each other. But today I stand before you. This was during the National Prayer Breakfast. I want to ask for forgiveness. And he called Raila Odinga to ask for forgiveness. What an experience when I saw them embracing each other. That's the kind of experience I pray that God will give us to come to, where in spite of our differences, we're able to say, my brother, my sister, forgive me for this that I have done, for that I've done.
In the message on the theme Hope Beyond Affliction, Awodi appealed to the Christians not to dwell on their challenges but focus on hope.
Let me say this, that focusing on the trouble will not remove the trouble. It will never change any situation. Instead, it will prolong and enlarge the trouble. And so, you think that is a very good way of dealing with the problem when you're actually destroying yourself.
Prominent among those that attended prayers at All Saints Cathedral was the first Deputy Premier and the Minister for East African Affairs, Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga. She says 2021 has been a tough year, but hopes that with the lifting of COVID-19 lockdown, things will normalize.
But fortunately, last evening, there was a pledge from the President to reopen a number of areas in the economy. There are people in this country who have not been able to earn a living for over 2 years. So now there will be an opportunity.
She pledges to work hard to normalize the trade wars between Kenya and Uganda as one of her priority areas.
I have put out of energy, and as you are aware, some 2 weeks ago, the Kenyans responded to our threat blockade, and they came for talks. And now the Poultry Association have already started exporting eggs again.
Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kampala.
Several children have been confirmed in the Catholic faith at St. Mary's Cathedral, Rubaga, on New Year's Day. This was overseen by former Apostolic Nuncio to Belgium, Augustine Kazimoto, who delivered the Pope's message on peace and dialogue for peaceful coexistence. This was re-emphasized by the Cathedral Catechist Aloysius Ivan Kalanzi, who called upon opposition to work with government.
Ready to confirm their devotion to the Catholic faith were over 60 children at Rubaga Cathedral in Kampala. The process was overseen by the former Apostolic Nuncio to Belgium, Augustine Kazimoto.
Mulingera patiri nerya mwana nerya mwoyo mutuukirivu.
Amina. They officially made their vows to confirm their devotion as is the practice in the Catholic Church.
Okkiriza mwoyo mutuukirivu omukama aw'obulamu bw'ogenda okufuna olwaleero mu konfirmansiyo ng'abatume bwe baamufuna luli ku lwa Pentekooti mu ngeri eyewunyisa omukkiriza.
This was part of New Year's celebrations, which also coincided with International Day of Peace, as pronounced by the Pope nearly 50 years ago.
The Church invites us to celebrate with the solemnity the divine motherhood of Mary. That is to say, that Mary, the mother of Jesus, is the mother of God. For 55 years, by the decision of Pope Paul VI, as I said before, on the 1st of January, we celebrate the World Day of Peace, which is always marked by a special message of the Pope for the occasion, addressed to all world leaders and to all people of goodwill.
In the message of the Pope, on whose behalf he delivered, he called for dialogue among its people in positions of responsibility.
For this year, 2022, Pope Francis proposes 3 tools, all paths for building a lasting peace. The first tool he proposes is honest dialogue between generations, which implies listening to one another and sharing wisdom and experiences between the elderly people and the young people, a fact that creates a lasting atmosphere of peace.
This was supported by the head of the laity for Kampala Archdiocese, Aloysius Kalanzi. He challenged the opposition to embrace working with government despite political differences.
Government ya NRM egambye tukolewo oluguudo lwaki nja kiwakanya. Baba nti bazimbawo eddwaliro ery'obulungi lw'abantu lwaki nja kiwakanya. N'olwekyo okubeera mu bibiina eby'enjawulo ku opposition kitegeeza kubeerawo nga tulwanagana oba tuwalaŋŋana wabula okulaba nti biteesebwa lwa bulungi bw'abantu.
As the day's sermon ended, also of concern to the congregants was the continuous destruction of the environment. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you, Henry Okrut. Now, the Bishop of Lira Diocese has asked Ugandans to embrace love and preach peace while presiding over the Golden Jubilee celebration of Sisters of Mary, Mother of the Church. Right Reverend Sanctus Lino Wanok said humanity has shunned mediation and resorted to noise in disguise of celebration. He also charged the professed sisters to front God's agenda other than their own.
The Congregation of Missionary Sisters of Mary, Mother of the Church, has welcomed the new year with the celebrations of their 50th anniversary since their congregation was started in 1970 by Bishop Caesar Seeley.
Glory, glory everywhere.
The Golden Jubilee celebrations also coincided with the 9 sisters of the congregation taking perpetual vows, while Sister Lovina and Nsima celebrated 25 years in the religious life.
We are very happy and we are proud of you, and actually we promise to stand in your footsteps and really learn from you and walk the walk you have walked before us.
And in compassion, continue the redemptive mission of Christ to humanity. Our God of life and hope will continue to call young women from different places, from different cultures, to serve together in creating an African cultural identity based on the gospel values of Christ.
While presiding over the ceremony at Mother House in Ngeta, Lira Diocese Bishop Sanctus Lino Wanok asked the religious sisters to be exemplary. He said mothers always care for humanity, while men tend to just destroy what is being cared for.
Work has lost meaning. The Pope emphasized. People want to sit but gain much. No much work, but looking for what to interfere into.
Bishop Wanok also urged Ugandans to embrace education to pacify the world.
Selfishness, where people are looking for power. People are looking for domination. And therefore dialogue cannot take place. And that shows that education is not taking place in humanity today. People are looking for their selfish end and causing untold suffering to one another, because education has not taken place in them, transforming.
This year was a double celebration for the Missionary Sisters of Mary, Mother of the Church. The congregation professes annually every January. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Thank you, Eddie Olwa. Now UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but will return with more stories. Do not move an inch.
Everyone deserves more this festive season, which is why MTN Momo is giving you more thank you points on your MTN Momo withdrawals at agent locations. Get 150 thank you points for every 1,000 shillings spent in withdrawal fees. More thank you points means you get more free minutes, more free MBs, more free SMSs, and more free Momo Pay shopping. To use your thank you points, dial *141#.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
It's the festive season and we love it. And that means it's time to celebrate with GoTV.
Come with me.
So get your GoCoder and GoTV value for 25,000 shillings to watch with the whole family. And if you're feeling extra festive, upgrade to our best package yet, GoTV Super.
Something to look forward to.
Download the My GoTV app for more information.
Super.
We all deserve a super festive season. And with GoTV, there's every reason to love it.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175*94# to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175 *94 hash to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175 hash and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
I am one of the millions of people who have been vaccinated. And today I want to ask you to choose to be vaccinated so that we can all go back to enjoying the Uganda we all love. A country that is one of the most entrepreneurial in the world with the most friendly people. A country where we can do business with anyone at any time. A country that is free of COVID-19. So, get vaccinated today in any of the verified health centers and let's bring business back to Uganda. COVID-19 vaccines are free of charge, safe and available.
Invest in your health. Invest in Uganda. This message is brought to you by the Uganda Investment Authority.
Transact and win money after money with Airtel Money. 1.5 billion shillings in cash prizes up for grabs. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us on this first day of January 2022. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu on sign language. Now we continue with more stories making headlines. The Orthodox Bishop for Gulu and Eastern Uganda, His Grace Silvestro Kazimoto, is calling on Ugandans to repent and forgive in the new year. Speaking to the media in Gulu immediately after the prayers to commemorate the circumcision of Jesus Christ, Bishop Silvestro Kazimoto said it is time to eliminate corruption and immoralities.
The Orthodox Bishop for Gulu at Eastern Uganda, His Grace, Right Reverend Silvestro Kazimoto, calls on Ugandans to overcome the demonic behavior of 2021.
Let's enter the new year with hope, with faith that our Lord is with us. He's always with us, in good times, in difficult times. Let's continue to be with the Lord, for He is the source of all blessings.
The Orthodox Bishop for Gulu and Eastern Uganda believes that the country needs its leaders to lead by example.
I would wish for our country, Uganda, that we have a new year of a positive change in our lives, starting from with the leaders, with the religious leaders, the political leaders, all leaders, to be exemplary leaders, to be good leaders to the people that we serve.
The bishop also consecrated Benedict Nyako as a deacon attached to Saint Lavenerestios Cathedral in Koro to lead the believers.
But to always bring joy to the people you will serve and glory to the Lord that you are serving. May the Lord strengthen you and be with you in your service. Now the time has come that you come to the Holy of Holies.
The Techno Ward LC1 chairperson Raymond Ojok asked for harmony in families as cases of women battering their husbands are on the rise.
So most women they are disturbing men this day, and most of domestic violence is coming from them.
The Orthodox Church commemorates the circumcision of Jesus Christ on the 8th day after his birth, a day that coincides with the first day of each new year.
Now, as the world anxiously ushered in the new year in Iganga district, 19 babies were born on the 1st of January 2022 at Iganga Main Hospital. 12 of these are female and 7 are male. Esther Nandabire, a midwife who was on duty, asked mothers to breastfeed their children up to 2 years and also go for antenatal services to give time to their newborn babies.
Ate mungeri yemu
19 babies, whereby 12 were girls and 7 were boys. Both mother and babies are in good conditions. Those ones who are ready for discharge, they are being discharged. Feed these babies. Only breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding, up to 6 months before they add in anything. And they should also be hygienic. They are still bleeding. Where blood is coming from, there is a wound. So they should do careful hygiene as they are caring for themselves and caring for our babies.
A Catholic priest in Kagadi has asked Christians to change their mindset and plan on how to improve their livelihoods in the new year 2022. Reverend Father Joseph Kato was delivering his New Year's message at St. Mary's Kagadi Catholic Parish in Kagadi Town Council.
Christians to save and invest in enterprises that generate income for better times ahead.
Family planning, which is a wider thing, which is a bigger thing, to plan for the family. Where will get school fees? Where will get food? Where will get the best needs? How I'm going to develop my family?
Reverend Father Joseph Kato wants Christians to follow SOPs and also work for peace in their families, communities, and the country at large.
Let us work for peace in our homes, in our places of residence, in our country, for the better development of our country.
Kagadi District Senior Education Officer Beatrice Mbabazi advised all teachers to get vaccinated against COVID-19 to be allowed at school.
Nitubagondeza okujaguza kurungi bati mumwelinda COVID-19 kama akaroira kandi akayizire akabako abandi baketa Macron.
The parish priest, St. Luke Church of Uganda Archdeaconry in Kabale District, Reverend Patrick Musingozi, says people should learn some lessons and to thank God for the successes achieved in the previous years than lamenting.
Omuntu wena obwaro kyokuranga mali ruhanga akuyire ahandi yakuteka ahandi aharungi simaga ruhanga buri kiro habukuba ruhanga niwo wenka aba kucywerira magezi.
Christians also shared their views and their resolutions for the new year.
I'm calling upon all Ugandans, now that the other 2 years disorganized us, we should stop lamenting, we should come up and start working, because we have lost the other 2 years.
Mbirenta kombe chiri, chonka hamwako go kutwaza kutandika, ninyenda ngunyombeke, nanye mfune ekikaro omukikaro kya Kashoga nanye nyombeke mwo muzigo.
Now, after the air and artillery assault on the Allied Democratic Forces Kambia Yua base by UPDF and FADC, the joint military operation, UPDF ground forces have now occupied the once stronghold of ADF rebels in the thickets of Virunga mountain thick forest.
Kambi Ayua is an 8-acre camp formerly occupied by Allied Democratic Forces in the middle of Virunga Tropical Forest in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. There is a semblance of makeshift structures at Kambi Ayua, built with locally made fences, some of which the UPDF has had to clear for visibility.
We shall move on camp after camp until every camp has been overrun.
Afande, you repeat the message, the sound was competing.
Yeah, I was saying that this operation is going to continue. We shall overrun every ADF camp in Eastern DRC. We shall reach everywhere they are. On foot, we shall reach.
Uganda People's Defense Forces troops did not find it hard to walk into Virunga Forest in northeastern Democratic Republic of Congo towards the deserted hideouts of the ADF rebels.
Yeah, currently we are in Kambi Ayua. You have visited Kambi Ayua, and that was the first phase of the operation. So we are now transiting into the second phase of the operation. We captured it with less resistance from the enemy. That is the biggest camp we have captured. But along the advance, there were some other small camps that we overran to reach that big camp, Kambi Ayua. That's how it is.
Natural ambience inside the thick forest.
Ayua was the most stronghold of ADF, who now have moved to areas like Boga, Eringeti, and the other places of Ituri province. But we are to follow them. Wherever they will go, we have to follow them and uproot them from their safe havens.
Bags on their backs and guns slung on their shoulders, the joined forces continue to mop up the thickets for any malingering ADF fighter. Big guns and rocket launchers pointing in the direction of the Allied Democratic Forces ADF, currently on the run in the thick Virunga Forest. UPDF troops have so far captured ADF strong bases of Kambi Ayua, Tondoli, Abia, Bel 1 and Bel 2 in North Kivu province, in Virunga and Ituri province, an action that could have scattered ADF capacity to organize. Haruna Mtesasira reporting for UBC News at Kambi Ayua camp in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
After 2 years of lockdown due to COVID-19, schools are reopening in just a few days' time with a stringent condition. One of these conditions is that teachers have to be fully vaccinated. The permanent secretary at the Ministry of Education, Katie Lamaro, says staff and learners aged 18 years and above will be allowed entry into the school only after showing proof of full vaccination.
The March 2020 first national COVID-19 lockdown affected the education sector, with over 15 million learners sent back home for 2 complete years and exempted from attending physical classes, save for those whose parents could afford online and virtual learning expenses. However, at a given point in time of the lockdown, government attempted to reopen institutions of learning, but in a phased manner, with clusters of students reporting for school, but the condition was to the effect that the set COVID-19 standard operating procedures by Ministry of Health be followed to the letter to counter the spread of the pandemic. This could not work out, and in June 2021, the president announced the second national lockdown. Some learners were in school and were compelled to return home barely 2.5 months in classes. To those in lower primary level of Form 1, 2 and 3 have never been to school since March 2020.
Admittedly, the time they were at school was shorter than the normal term and semesters. As they returned home, the continuity of learning has been implemented through distribution of home study materials, broadcast of lessons through radio and television.
Learners in Senior 1 and 2 had very little time to return to school for physical classes, even if opportunities for brief reopening came. However, since mid-August 2021, medical and health training institutions were opened. From 1st November, all tertiary institutions were allowed to reopen in a phased manner.
Now they have opportunity to study for 2 weeks physically, and that will cover things like the practicals, those who have got laboratory practicals and such things, and also for the lecturers to be able maybe to explain some concepts that students may not have understood during the online.
Vaccination against COVID-19 prioritized teachers, and the Ministry of Education and Sports managed to mobilize teaching staff, non-teaching staff and learners who were aged 18 years and above to go for vaccination. By early December, 70% of teaching staff out of an estimated 550,000 teaching staff had received at least one COVID-19 vaccination jab. The spokesperson, Ministry of Education and Sports, Dr. Mujimba Dennis, emphasizes that the first SOP that heads of institutions must enforce is that staff unvaccinated must not be allowed in the premises of the institution.
For staff in government institutions and receiving a salary from public funds, we cannot allow you to remain away from your job simply because you do not want to be vaccinated, while at the same time you continue to receive a salary. At some point, staff must decide whether they want to keep their job or stay unvaccinated, but not both.
In line with this condition, some schools confirm that most of their staff have been vaccinated and others are already carrying out psychosocial support, counseling teachers to change their mindset.
We're all vaccinated, and I thank all the teachers and the support staff because they all have their certificates.
Some schools, some other businesses, chapati making, brick making, some small businesses. We have encouraged them not to close those businesses, but they are getting some people to be keeping them. They will
so ensure that all our teachers are vaccinated, apart from 2 who have just given birth.
Since July 2021, when the financial year started running, the Line Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development disbursed more than 107 billion shillings in capitation grants to institutions of learning at all levels to purchase basic amenities for observance of SOPs.
For government-aided primary and secondary schools, at least 62 billion shillings of the capitation grants has been earmarked for restoration of these schools by way of minor repairs and facelifting.
The Minister for Education and Sports announced the reopening of basic and secondary education institutions and also released the school calendar for 2022 academic year. She assured the public that to catch up with lost time, there will be remedial lessons.
Senior 2 classes of 2020 shall be progressed to Senior 2 and Senior 3 respectively. Remedial lessons shall be provided. These classes should be provided in these classes during the first term of 2022 so that they can be beneficiaries, especially those who are beneficiaries of home study materials.
However, some of the teachers we spoke to revealed their plans of implementing remedial lessons and how to catch up with lost time.
Public schools, their timetables have always been beginning at 8:30, so it is high time we saved an hour. If your timetable begins at 8:30, you can save the 30 minutes or 45 before and then 45 after. We should conduct remedial lessons.
We shall start with some simple work, preparing them into the difficult work, teaching them from the known to the unknown.
The Ministry of Education and Sports released guidelines for reopening of schools. These guidelines include, among others, effective implementation of the school-based COVID-19 surveillance programs for daily screening of learners and staff for COVID-19 signs and symptoms, recording of screened results, reporting and referral of suspected cases of COVID-19.
We find any temperature which is so high, it's not abnormal. We don't handle such people as an abnormal case. What is important here is the reporting. That's why we have COVID committees.
We have also changed the streams. If a class had one stream, we have made them two streams so that the children can have ample space within the classroom.
However, some private school heads say implementation of these guidelines come with financial implications.
The SOPs for schools are just impossible. If a class used to have 60 students, now you need 4 classrooms to accommodate the same 60 students. So you cannot build those structures now.
Other guidelines include restricting entry of members of the public to schools, no official visiting days, regularly guide and counsel learners against COVID-19 related stigmatization and coping mechanisms, and learning shifts for those with inadequate facilities. I'm Nafka Farida, reporting for UBC News.
All right, UBC News takes another short break, but we return with more stories.
Transact and win money after money with Airtel Money. 1.5 billion shillings in cash prizes up for grabs.
My name is Mulage Swahod from Tororo District. I'm so happy that I'm a lucky winner of the 10 million Uganda shillings man after money promotion with Airtel. I can't believe it. It's just like I've been reborn. It's the best day of my life.
The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
This holiday season is all about kujienjoy, kupiga sherehe na kuget lit na kupata way more than you expected.
Soon to be father.
Kwenye Showmax original film Baba Twins. It's about kuget jina lako kwenye limelight in Famous. First and only on Showmax.
I need to discover who I am without you.
And it's about kuchotwa na drama or holding on for dear life in the telenovela Kina.
No matter what.
Form ni kupiga sherehe kiwewe na hii yote iko just a click away. Get festive, get Showmax.
Transact and win money after money with Airtel Money. 1.5 billion shillings in cash prizes up for grabs.
My name is Suluga Morris. I'm an Airtel Money agent. I'm from Chibuli here. That's where I operate from. I won 2 million shillings. This is great, guys. Go for this. This is for real.
The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Raising voices.
I feel happy when my father spends time with me. I hope all fathers will like my father. I want my father to reach out to all fathers. He knows how important it is to be a good father. I promise to help my father inspire other fathers to change.
In this time of COVID, what is your promise to the children of Uganda? Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voices.
Everyone deserves more this festive season, which is why MTN Momo is giving you more thank you points on your MTN Momo withdrawals at agent locations. Get 150 thank you points for every 1,000 shillings spent in withdrawal fees. More thank you points means you get more free minutes, more free MBs, more free SMSs, and more free Momo Pay shopping. To use your thank you points, dial *141#.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back from that break. And now into some business news. Meat dealers are seemingly not happy with less demand for meat at leading abattoirs around Kampala City. Now, there's a saying that their customers claim to be preparing for opening of schools, therefore the less expenditure. Take a look.
Amidst economic recovery from the shock of the COVID-19 pandemic, meat dealers have been hit by a slight fall in the demand for meat at abattoirs as Ugandans usher in 2022.
The situation currently is affecting the traders because the purchasing of the meat is very, very low. You know, you purchase an animal, basically selling at 11,000 per kg. But you can find that now we are selling it at 10K, 9,000, 10,000. So we are making loss. We don't know how we shall put back our kids to school.
Because they had not, they had some money. But with 2020, it has been a long lockdown. People have been down, everything is down, so that's why they didn't purchase well in 2022.
The public has ushered in the new year at the peak of preparing to return children at school after 2 years period of closure due to COVID-19. According to meat dealers, this is another factor for small sales.
They have no money in their pockets, and you see they're opening up schools. Even opening up schools are affecting our people. It has affected our business.
Previous year hasn't been that good and hasn't been that bad. We have been trying to adjust to the situation in the country, to the COVID-19 situation in the country. And
meat dealers at the city abattoir adopted distance trading due to the movement restrictions brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The abattoir opened up a website where customers can search and find about our products concerning the abattoir. We've used social media pages such as Facebook's. An abattoir involves a number of businesses.
Other challenges of the sector faced include cattle movement restrictions due to the foot and mouth disease, making price of cattle high, which does not correspond with the demand.
It's been slow. We haven't received much cattle from different areas due to the foot and mouth disease in most of the areas that have been quarantined. So we're trying to survive, but business is not as good as it seems.
Abdul Nasiri Lubama, UBC News.
And in our international news tonight, the funeral mass for South African anti-apartheid campaigner Archbishop Desmond Tutu has taken place at the Anglican Cathedral in Cape Town. Tutu, a Nobel Peace Prize winner who helped end the racist regime in South Africa, died last Sunday, aged 90. In his eulogy, President Cyril Ramaphosa described Tutu as a spiritual father of our new nation. Tutu had insisted there should be no lavish spending on the funeral. He wanted the cheapest available coffin. Family, friends, clergy, politicians, and were among those who gathered at St. George's Cathedral for Saturday's service, which had limited numbers because of coronavirus restrictions. Tutu was one of the driving forces behind the movement to end the policy of racial segregation and discrimination enforced by the white minority government against the black majority in South Africa from 1948 until 1991.
There can be no doubt remains will be acclimated, a more eco-friendly alternative to cremation. His final remains will be interred at his beloved St. George's Cathedral.
Eternal life. Bring our brother to the joys of heaven.
And into sports, the first ever monetized swimming league in Uganda has climaxed its first season. This Altona British School Kampala Swimming League is two teams and has over the past year been hosted at British School Kampala in Muyenga.
Since time immemorial, Ugandan swimmers have been competing to win either certificates and trophies or both. Then, in a complete turn of events, came the Altona British School Kampala Swimming League. Its founders, including Eric Kisero, fronted the idea of rewarding cash to participants for almost everything unique achieved.
Now, I always keep reminding you there are no secrets to success. It's the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. Now, to the swimmers, whenever you step out in any competition, everyone else is equal. But even if you're more talented, it's equally useless compared to somebody who really works hard.
Here, they looked at things like personal best times and new records, which they believed, if appreciated with cash, will improve competition. The league is of two teams, Talons and Colts, and competed 4 in editions of 4 match days each. Each match day is a contest in one of the known swimming styles of butterfly, breaststroke, backstroke, and freestyle. The truncated nature of 2021 as a result of COVID-19 hasn't enabled a full completion of the league, but nonetheless climaxed with Talons triumphant. All participants in the league received their due reward, but for her excellent displays, Tara Kisauzi was the biggest earner with 270,000 Uganda shillings. The league will this year grow to 3 teams upon admission of Team Astros to join Talons and Colts. John Barnes, Centum, reporting.
And with that, we come to the end of this newscast. Thank you so much for your company. Do enjoy much more of UBC's programming. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu on sign language. We wish you a blessed night.
The family of Mr. Chibedi Ismail of Kabuuma village, Wakiso district, announces the disappearance of their daughter Habiba Nakasua, a 16-year-old senior 1 student of Green Stars High School, Entebbe. Habiba Nakasua was sent to a nearby shop to buy groceries on 15th December 2021 and has not returned yet. The family appeals to whoever has seen Habiba Nakasua to contact the parents on 0772 896 265 or 0701 896 265 or report to the nearest police station. A big reward awaits.
It's the festive season, and we love it. And that